Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Dr. Thomas Beavers, and I want to take this privilege, pleasure, this honor, as well as this opportunity to say, welcome to Unconventional Conversations. This is season number 2. Season number 1 was absolutely amazing, where we have unconventional conversations that people normally don't talk about. And I pray with all of my heart that you are blessed, inspired, fueled, and re-energized. In season number 2, please don't forget we had Minister Danny, who's a former porn star. She's now a pastor. She talked about from porn to the pulpit. You got to go check that out on my YouTube channel. Also, we had Twan. Twan was born and raised in Birmingham, Alabama. Speaking of Twan, Twan actually called me 2 days ago. He said, Pastor Beavers, I've been out of church a long time. He told us that in season number 1, and he actually said he's coming to church this Sunday. So I don't know when you are watching this, but these conversations have been effective, not just for the people that have been tuned in to them, but also for the people who've taken part in the interviews. And I am absolutely excited that this is season number 2. Listen, I got my friend, I got my brother, I got the mayor of the city of Birmingham, Alabama, none other than the Honorable Mayor Randall Woodfin. Look into the camera and say what's up to the people.
What's up, everybody? This is Randall Woodfin. What an honor it is to be here with my friend, Pastor Beavers, to dive into this unconventional conversation.
Man, that's what's up. You the coolest mayor I know, man.
And I'm really just trying to be my most authentic self, man.
Man, I actually dressed up a little bit. I told your assistant I was going to be in jeans and a blazer because I didn't know if you was coming in here with a suit. I said, jeans and a blazer is the most I can do today. And I figured you was going to have on a suit. But, man, you came in here like I normally dress. You just cold with it. How you doing, man?
I'm good, brother. I'm happy, man. You know, I've learned from you. I've learned from others that my household's first.
Yeah.
Husband, bonus dad, new father to a 4-month-old daughter. So with all of that going, all the challenges that the job presents, 2024 has also had some exciting times with the birth of my daughter.
Yeah.
And the last 4 months of my life have been the most amazing point ever in my life.
Wow.
Acknowledging that, I'm also acknowledging 2024 as it relates to being mayor and a leader in the community has also presented some very challenging times for our community and for our families. And so I'm dealing in both worlds. Most happy time with challenges in the community.
I've been praying for you, man.
Thank you, man.
And I'm sure other people have been praying for you too.
I'm grateful, bro.
I know sometimes, man, when you're in a leadership position, it's easy to sit on the sidelines and criticize.
Yeah.
And I believe in constructive criticism, but at the same time, it looks one way when you're on the sidelines, but until you actually sit in the seat, I learned that from being a pastor.
Right.
So my grandfather pastored this church for 35 years before I became the pastor and succeeded him in ministry. And before I was the pastor, I was the assistant pastor. And about 2 months before I became the pastor, he called me into his office. He said, son, if you were the pastor, what would you do different? And I sat there and I pondered. And I said, honestly, grandfather, if you had asked me that question maybe about 3 to 4 months ago, I knew everything that I would do different. I said, I do this different, that different. I don't understand why he do this, why he do that. Like, it just looked one way. I said, but the Lord pretty much slapped me in the face and told me that my responsibility is to make sure that your vision goes. And right now, that's my only focus. So I don't know what I would do different. And then 2 months later, I was the pastor. And then when I became the pastor, I literally almost hyperventilated 2 or 3 times. My pastor had to pray for me because I didn't realize the weight.
There's weight, man.
That comes with the seat, man. Talk about that in being the mayor.
Yeah, so first, just thinking about what you said, I think about Richard Arrington. I think about Mayor Kincaid. I think about Mayor Larry Langford. I think about Mayor William Bell. I have the utmost tremendous respect for all those gentlemen.
Yeah.
Whatever position they took, whatever decisions they made, collectively, I have the utmost respect. I still today have no problem talking to Mayor Bell, no problem talking to Mayor Kincaid, no problem calling Mayor Arrington and says, when you're in this position, if you had this issue, what you have done or what did you do?
Wow.
And I got to do that because I'm going to tell you the way I carry the weight of the job. If there's a choice between being a student and a teacher, as mayor, I'm going to be the student every time.
Wow.
The reason I'm going to be the student because I want to learn.
Wow.
I'm acknowledging I don't have all the answers as a leader. I'm acknowledging that there are best practices that exist in other cities, from other mayors. I'm acknowledging that I'm standing on the shoulders of not only previous mayors, but also civil rights leaders in this community. So I get to sit on the shoulders of so many people who were leaders before me, particularly including those who were in this position before me. So I eat humble pie every day. And carrying the weight, particularly in 2024, serenity has never been clearer to me. Literally accepting the things I cannot change. I accept it. And what that allows me to do is not wallow in those things I can't change. But I change the things I can.
Wow.
Oh man, I lean all the way in.
Wow.
I lean all the way in. And so I have clarity.
Wow.
I have focus. And as loud as the noise is around me, this whole notion of being the man in the arena, make the next play, bro.
Wow.
If I miss this shot, if I don't make these yards, what's the next play?
What's the next play? What is it like accepting the things you can't change, but also simultaneously being criticized for the things that you can't change, that people think that you should change, and that you're responsible for changing?
Yeah, so let's take gun violence. 2024.
Man, we're going here early in the conversation.
Man, we got to get in. It's unconventional. 2024 has presented itself with the highest form of violence our city's ever had since 1871. The last time the year that title was held was 1933. Now I tell people, back out. There are two ways to back out of this. One is hyper-local first, and then the other is national. Hyper-local is since 1871, violence has always been high in Birmingham, Alabama. It's come in all forms. It came in the form of lynchings throughout Birmingham and Jefferson County. It came through the form of bombings. We got the nickname Birmingham, which is an awful nickname, by the way. Yeah. And in 2024, it has presented itself in the form of gun violence. Now, at a national level, what does that look like? Birmingham, Alabama suffers from not only poverty, but concentrated poverty. And it always has, again, since late 1800s, early 1900s. When America gets a cold, Alabama gets the flu. But when Alabama gets the flu, Birmingham gets pneumonia. You look at the Great Depression, Birmingham suffered at a higher rate than the state of Alabama, which suffered at a higher rate than most of America. You look, recent history, 2020, the coronavirus. Birmingham suffered, and Jefferson County suffered at a higher rate of deaths than the state of Alabama. But Alabama suffered at a higher rate than the country. And so we have this concentration of issues here that plague us at a higher level. And so I remind people, gun violence was declared a public health crisis by the Surgeon General of America. Surgeon General didn't declare it because of increase in Birmingham. There's an increase in the country. But Birmingham gets the brunt of it worse than the state, and the state gets it worse than most of the country. That tells me there's some lingering things that are beyond my control here that require so many other actors and organizations to participate in. If the onus is only on the mayor, and the onus and accountability is only on the police, it will never solve this issue, bro. Like, we're not Batman or Superman. Like, we don't wear capes. We can't predict when somebody's going to shoot somebody. So what's happened is you got this weird convergence of concentrated poverty. And the Brookings Institute has it. So what I'm about to say is backed up by 4 data. The combination of concentrated poverty plus boys who either drop out of school or young men unemployed equals a higher rate of violence.
Oh yeah, for sure.
When you add on the ease and access to guns, the proliferation of guns, the love and excitement of gun culture in Birmingham and in America, that's seeded in our music, in our video games, in TV, in our everyday language, the lack of civility that exists at the country level. And then all these police that retired, that were eligible for retirement and took it, and then these people had a lower interest in becoming police, creating the gap in policing. All of that convergence happened at one time, and then you add the cherry on top. No regulation of gun safety in the state of Alabama, which you don't even need a permit. You add all of that together, that allows you to have a higher concentration of gun violence than the average American city.
I can see that. And you started that by saying like you found serenity to accept the things you cannot change. And I immediately thought about the prayer of serenity. I haven't prayed that prayer in a long time, but when I used to pray it, I would add something to it. I would say, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, wisdom to know the difference, and the faith to know that you can change anything. And so when I look at the gun violence, like it's a daunting task.
We can change it.
Yeah.
I want to tell you how we're going to change it. There is a toolbox. You got to have every tool in this toolbox to address this issue.
Yeah.
One of the things we got to do is that intangible of culture. You've talked about it, and I've heard you talk about it separate from and apart from any conversation you and I have had. I've heard you talk about it on the radio and public speaking engagements. I've heard you talk about it here at your church.
Yeah.
We've created a culture that allows non-accountability and acceptance of behavior that doesn't work for families or communities. Now, set poverty aside for just 1 second, because poverty doesn't mean that your culture has to be bad. My family grew up poor. Both my sides, my mom's one of 8, my dad's one of 6. They both grew up in public housing right here in Birmingham. A generation removed from my parents growing up poor. Even when they got married, they moved into Illiton projects where they had my brother. They grew up poor. But they accepted that the best thing they can do is make the necessary investments in themselves, going from poor to working class, and making sure that their children finish school. Let me define finish school. I'm just talking about a minimum completing high school. My parents didn't force me to go to college. That's not what we're talking about. What I am saying, culturally wise, our families and our community need to commit to let's make it better for the next generation.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. As hard as it is for me, I need to make it better for my children.
Yeah.
What does that commitment look like? It is small things that don't require money. It's small things that don't require a lot. Love, time, commitment.
Yeah.
Commitment is I'm going to make sure my children go to school.
Yeah.
So we got this high chronic absenteeism that not only exists at the high school level, but exists at middle school, elementary as well. Well, elementary, the only people responsible for their child attending school is the parents.
Right.
That's bad culture when an elementary school has 30-40% chronic absenteeism.
Wow.
That means the parent has embraced, I don't care if my child goes to school or not. That don't work for your child.
Yeah.
You may have had a bad experience yourself as a parent in school. But at a minimum, your child has to be in class. Your child has to attend school.
Right.
Because the best way to get them out of poverty is to make sure they, at a minimum, finish high school. We can change we can change the next generation for your family.
Yeah.
By simply your child attending school.
Wow.
I didn't say they had to be smart. I didn't say they had to be the best in reading, be the best in math. I said attend.
Just attend. Just
go. Go to school.
Yeah.
So part of our theory is, at a minimum, fighting chronic absenteeism. That 15% of this is making sure children just attend school.
Wow.
At every level, elementary, middle, and high. And if we have better attendance, we have a decrease in poverty and a decrease in crime.
Wow. Man, I think that's good, and I think
we
that's
can change that.
Yeah, we can. That's something tangible that we can do.
That. Yeah. The other thing we can change. I gotta admit my failures. The city of Birmingham has over 60% of households led by single women. So what we did, brother, in the first and second term, we concentrated all our resources in supporting women.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to stop supporting our women. But if we don't divert resources to our boys and young men and get them gainfully skilled and employed, we're going to miss the boat.
Yeah.
So you're about to see a super, super laser-like focus on making sure boys either stay in school or if they drop out, we get them to a trade or a skill. And the young men in their 20s and 30s, we got to get them gainfully employed. We got to be so intentional about that. We're asking them to put down a gun or never pick it up. In order to do that,
they
got
to
put a trade or a skill in their hands.
Yeah.
And a job. And that's not rocket science. That just requires resources and intentionality and them knowing that we love them.
Yeah.
Saving our boys, loving our boys, investing in our boys, employing our young men. Because they are the ones in the streets choosing violence.
So what I hear you saying, or where I want to start, I want to go back a minute. You talked about just attending school. You talked about the household you grew up in and how, were you the first generation college student in your household?
Yeah, my dad actually went to school.
Got it.
My mom didn't get her degree until she was 50.
So, and that's crazy. She went back and got it, which means that we have no excuse.
We don't have an excuse, bro, but I also acknowledge the town we live in.
Yeah.
We live in a blue-collar city, man.
So everybody's not going to college.
No. Max that you get is about 45% of people go to college statewide in Alabama.
Yeah.
It's big in Birmingham. Even in rural Alabama where the majority of residents are white. Or rural Alabama and the Black Belt where the majority of residents are black. Only 45%. So literally the majority, 55% of people don't go to a 2 or 4 year college. And we got to be okay with that because I am.
Yeah. There
are 2 other alternatives. They need to go to the military and we need to put them to work.
Right.
That's it. We don't want nobody sitting on the couch. We don't want nobody in the streets. And the streets lead to death or imprisonment or you killing somebody or hurting someone or taking things that don't belong to you. On the couch, you're lazy, unproductive. And I don't mean to just say people are lazy, but you're unproductive is what I meant. And what I mean by that is you have to be an example for the next generation.
Yeah.
So, what are we doing for that 55%? Do they want to be electricians? Do they want to be plumbers? Do they want to be HVAC? Do they want to be an entrepreneur? Do they want to do hair? What is it that they want to do? What's their dream? What's their passion? What's their thoughts? What's their ideas? As adults, what is our responsibility to invest in them? To make sure they don't choose the couch or the streets.
I want to ask you this question, and it has a broader theme to it. You went to college, but nobody made you go to college. That's what I heard you say. What was the driving force of you going to college? And to somebody who's watching, whether it's college, whether it's the military, whether it's getting a job, what puts a drive in a person to go beyond what they've been exposed to and beyond what somebody's pushing them to do?
The 2 things happened to me when I was 15 years old. I got my first job, and I became leader of in-step ministry at my church, where Reverend Porter baptized me and created an in-step ministry.
What was that?
The in-step ministry?
Yeah.
Oh, bro, we were straight.
Y'all stepping
in church, bro.
For real.
But the chants were about God. The chants were about Jesus. Some of the best time of my life. I actually shared this with my leadership team a couple weeks ago about how those 2 things at age 15 changed me. Reverend Porter baptized me at 10. I believe I was Mason's age, literally like 5th grade.
Wow.
And we ended up going to 6th Avenue because my parents divorced. So my dad's still at 4th Avenue Baptist, which is Living Word now.
Okay.
But my great-grandmother went to 6th Avenue, and that's where we went to live with. And we ended up started going to her church, attending her church, and we became members of Sixth Avenue Baptist. Well, Reverend Porter, man, he talked about a lot of different things. One of the things he always talked about was Morehouse.
Wow.
And I never forgot that.
So I was going to ask you, like, what even made you choose Morehouse?
It was Reverend Porter. Reverend Porter talking about Morehouse all the time. To the point where I'll never forget my senior year, they gave us all a Bible. I'm 43 now. That's still the Bible I have. That my pastor who baptized me at 10 years old. 33 years later, I still have. But he talked about Morehouse all the time. So I applied for Morehouse. They gave me early acceptance. And then I did a student perspective seminar on the campus for 5 days. And I never went and looked at another school.
Wow. So that's how you ended. That's how you ended up at Morehouse.
Just like that.
So here's what's crazy.
Because I didn't know anybody else that went to Morehouse.
Wow. What's crazy is I wanted to go to Morehouse. I applied to Morehouse. I didn't get into Morehouse.
It's messed up.
My high school principal went to Kentucky State University. He was his name is Van Phillips, very influential in me attending Kentucky State University.
That's the word, though. When you were talking, I was thinking, before you said influential, the word I was thinking was influence, man.
Yeah.
Pastor Porter, Mr. Van.
And that's exactly where I'm going.
Influence.
Like, you had somebody, even if it wasn't necessarily in your immediate household, there was another man in the community who had some kind of influence. And it was something about his life, something about what he said that gave you the drive to want to go to college and go to Morehouse, or to want to do something different, even if it's not college.
100%. But that's it.
Kentucky State was nowhere on my radar,
right.
But there was a man in my life who was a leader in the community, a leader over this school, Van Phillips. And God used him to put the drive in me. I think I already wanted to go to college, but I told my mom when I was 5 years old, I said, you'll never have to pay a dime for my college education. I told her that at 5. And I remember those words. And so when I was a senior, I had partial scholarships to places, but because of my GPA at the time, my GPA was always golden. Test taking, I wasn't bad, but I wasn't the best.
Oh, I sucked at it.
if you get what I'm saying. But that man was able to present my GPA to the faculty and the staff of Kentucky State University and say, hey, this is one you want to finance full time. And off of his word, I ended up at Kentucky State University. But the bigger thing of what I'm saying is there was an influence in the community for the positive. Talk about how important that is in order to changing things and making things better.
Just positives and negatives, man. It's as a community full of men, by the way. Don't care what their status is. Don't care if they're a leader or non-leader. Don't care if they're employed or unemployed. As men in the community, we have a choice. We are going to deposit positive influences in our boys and young men's lives, or negative.
Yeah.
Music, man. Music has influence.
Yes.
Let me be very clear.
Root word of music is muse. Muse means to think. Whatever you listen to the most on your playlist is what you're thinking about. What you're thinking about is your influence.
I have no problem telling your audience, man. UGK, A-Ball, MJG, Outkast.
Friend or foe.
But that music, I love that music then. I'm in the church saying, it's bad, but I love it now.
Yeah.
But I had other influences to offset that.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
That make a whole lot of sense.
I had to balance it out.
Because I was listening to the same music.
Right?
Yeah.
To balance it out. The video games, what's the balance? The TV and what's the balance?
The social media.
What's the balance?
Yeah.
There's no balance, man. If the input is more negative than positive.
So these are the results.
The output will be more negative.
Yeah.
I'm not saying take away video games. I'm not saying take away the TV. I'm not saying take away social media. I'm not saying take away the music. What I am saying is that the men in our community, we better get better at put nuggets of more positive influence to balance this, because we're not balanced right now as a society, a local society. Our local culture, our local community is not balanced currently.
Yeah.
And man, there's so many OGs in this city, bro. It's so many men who spent time in the county, who spent time in the state, who spent time in the Fed. They're out now. I'm not asking them to be somebody they're not. Go back to your elementary school. Go back to your middle school. Go back to your high school that you either finished or didn't finish. Pick one boy.
Yeah.
Engage them. One for one. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. I'm not asking you to adopt a whole middle school or a whole high school. I'm asking you to engage one young man. Yeah. Because all he needs is balanced influence, bro. Balanced influence. We live in balanced influence. I had balanced influence. I had a brother who was a drug dealer. Mm. We got the same mom and same dad, bro. Mm. I had uncles who spent time in state prison, and their sentences ranged from 10 years, 20 to life with and life without. I listened to the same music, but I had balance. I had a pastor. I had a mama knock me upside my head. I had classmates who were, not schoolmates, who were older than me say, you can't do that. Balance, bro. Yeah. Just balance.
So let me ask you this question. We've been talking about the city. We talked about you as a father. We talked about home. We talked about you as a mayor. What even made you aspire to want to be the mayor?
That's a really good question, man. Morehouse had more of a profound impact on my life than I can account for. I tell people, man, Morehouse is this amazing convergence, three-way intersection, if you would, of academic rigor, community service, and leadership. Mm. At this intersection, they literally tell you on these pews here. So we're in the King Chapel, and they're telling you just in the room, just like this. Same colors, by the way. Look to your left, look to your right. Yeah. One of y'all won't be here next year. But they also telling us, if you're here, you have a duty, you have a mandate, you're required to either cast down your bucket or go back home and make a difference, make an impact, be a leader, serve your community, serve. Mm. That you can't separate leadership from service.
Right.
You cannot separate leadership from service.
Well, you know that's a biblical principle.
I genuinely
You're in the pulpit and you're preaching. Don't even know it.
You cannot separate those things. And so many times people try to. So I was like, bet. I majored in political science. I had never been around any politician, bro. Nobody in my family was an elected official. Nobody in my family was in government. I finished my freshman year at Morehouse. I go to Capitol Hill, summer 2000. So this is 24 years ago. Mm. And I'm exposed to the inner workings of how Congress works. But something happens better than that. That's the first half of the summer. The second half of the summer, I work in a district, and I started traveling with the congressmen around Birmingham. I started traveling with the congressmen in the Blackville and in Montgomery. And man, I'm looking at how people live, man. And it pained me, bro. Like it burned 24 years ago as a 19-year-old to be exposed to the sufferings of people in the community, whether it was in housing, whether it was health, and people had no front teeth, but they didn't have access to a dentist's office or health care. I mean, it was just what I saw. To the point where I came back the next summer, it was like, I don't want to go to D.C. I want to work in the district again because I want to see it on the ground, how people live and how can I affect change where they live. And then I just stayed in government from there. Wow. I knocked on the mayor's door in 2003. I knocked on the city council president's door in 2003. They both gave me an opportunity. I went to law school, almost dropped out, didn't even want to practice law because I didn't think it was for me. But I ended up staying in and ended up interning in the legal department for the city of Birmingham and got more exposure on issues facing everyday community members or how to solve it from a legal standpoint.
Got it.
My passion has always been education, so I was like, I'm going to serve on the school board because this seemed to be the biggest deficit. And I just stayed in it.
Wow.
And I even ran for mayor on the platform of investing more in education opportunities for our young people.
Yeah.
So I ran for mayor. That's a lot of words. Here's the short version. I ran for mayor because I was crazy and naive enough to believe I could make a difference in Birmingham, my hometown.
Man, we need more people like that.
That's the
who really believe that I can do something about this.
The easiest way to say it, bro. I'm crazy enough to believe I can make a difference.
So that being said, you're a 2-term mayor. I'm assuming running for a 3rd term.
I'm gonna run for a 3rd term. It's simple. The work's not done yet.
Gotcha.
I want to take the Birmingham promise and put it in a position where it exists in perpetuity.
Got it.
So I want to endow it. I want to make early childhood education available for all of our parents in our community. So birth to 5.
Got it.
I want to put young boys and men to work. I want to give them a skill. I want to give them a trade. And I want them to know that when they finish high school, they don't have to go to 4-year college if they don't want to. They can walk out of that stage and go straight into a job.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to make the city safer. I want to make community better. I want to I want to just get rid of the blight. I want to build homes on empty lots.
So I want to ask you this. Now we're going unconventional.
Yeah.
In running for mayor, 1st time, 2nd time, what was your biggest challenge? And what was your greatest disappointment? What was your greatest hurt?
Challenge, disappointment.
This is why I couldn't be a politician. I do not have the resolve. I love Jesus. I love God. I be to cuss the whole city out.
Not be bucking.
And you know, if you do anything in politics, they coming for you.
They coming for you. Challenge, disappointment, hurt. I got to remember that. Challenge, disappointment, hurt. The biggest challenge the first time I ran for mayor was that I did not have any name recognition ID. People talk about getting it out the mud. That was a full hustle, brother, to present myself to one of the biggest cities in the state. A city that has so many square miles, 100,000 rooftops, 200,000 residents. I had to present myself as an unknown quantity. That was a significant challenge. How did I turn that challenge on its head? By literally presenting myself. Every channel, every communication channel, every opportunity, not just neighborhood meetings or churches, but knocking on doors. All right, so that was the challenge. What was disappointment and hurt?
Yeah.
The disappointment and hurt are in the same category almost, so bear with me. I've always considered myself a son of Birmingham, and that I've done everything I can of good name and character. Don't talk about people, don't disrespect people, don't make up stuff about people, don't lie on people, don't create rumors, don't talk false stuff.
And all that stuff was done to you.
Bro, they tried to kill me, bro.
All right, talk about it.
I'm a single man at the time. You're a single black man in the city of Birmingham. 35 and then 36. So I became mayor at 36. So 35 and 36.
35, you single.
Yeah.
So now we're going to make up a lie about you being 35 and single.
Yeah. So I'm a heterosexual man the entire campaign to the runoff because nobody thought I could win. Nobody thought, first of all, people told me, don't run. You shouldn't run. You're going to get beat and you're going to hurt yourself politically. I ignored all of that, did it anyway. So literally from August 22nd, 2016 to August 22nd, 2017, I'm a heterosexual man. My masculinity is not in question. Dating women is not in question. I'm living good. The results come in at night. I got 41%, the incumbent got 33%. And all of a sudden, the next 6 weeks were pure hell. I'm sorry to say that in church, but it was hell.
Yeah.
Political hell, how about that?
Yeah.
And they tried to assassinate my character. The main way they tried to assassinate it is by saying that all of a sudden I'm gay.
Yeah.
I wasn't gay for a whole year until I made 6-week runoff. And all of a sudden.
What lengths did they go to?
They went to every length you can think of. First of all, they had somebody externally call my team member to say, you may want to jump ship. We've been paid by a certain organization and we're about to kill Woodfin's character. We're going to bleed him out. We're going to bleed him out so bad not only he's not gonna win, but he's gonna run out in the corner somewhere because we're gonna kill his whole name. Mm. So I got wind of it that something was coming. I just didn't know what it was. We went internally and said there are two things they can do when you're a single man. They can say you're sleeping around, or they can say you're gay.
Yeah.
They chose gay.
Yeah.
Which at the time, neither was true. Today, neither is true. But they went to the lengths of paying black pastors in this city.
So that was going to be my question. Who is they? Because on my staff, when they say they said, I stopped the comment. If you can't say who they is,
I'll say it.
Shut up talking to me.
I'll say it. And here's why I'm confident saying it. There's no pushback to you, but you asked the question. So don't even come for Pastor B. This is me talking. You got any issue with this, bring it to me. I'm looking at the camera saying that. I had folks texting me on Sundays saying that their pastors in the pulpit were not using coded language, flat out saying that we don't want a homosexual in the mayor's office. We need to stick with William Bell. Mm. Well, who else William Bell running against?
Wow.
Running against me.
Wow.
So there was a bag man, there was money passed to assassinate my character, discredit me by saying that I was a gay man running for office.
So somebody, not in the streets, but in the church, put a bag on your head. That's street language, code.
I'm telling you.
To assassinate you, not physically, but to assassinate your character.
100%.
Okay.
Streets ran with it. Social media ran with it. To the point where when I won October 3rd, and then apparently I was married to a white man. And I'm like, well, marriage certificates are like
public.
They're public record.
Yeah.
Man, they ran with that for a long time, bro. They ran with it. I thought it would
stop.
But
he the mayor. He can hide his. He the mayor.
No, I'm under the same rules as everybody else.
Yeah.
The point is, I thought it would stop when I won.
Kept going.
It fueled more fire to it. And so what I've learned, man, you said disappointment. I guess the disappointment for me, it came from other black men who were leaders in community, or so who I thought were leaders in community. So I struggled with that. But then I got over it. Yeah. Because then I realized, well, man, this is what it means to be the man in the arena. That people will every day talk about you, try to kill your character, assassinate your character, make up things about you, lies, rumors, when none of it's true.
Yeah.
If you yield to it, you can't leave because you and your feelings focus on people trying to hurt you.
Yeah.
There's a whole nother group that's the majority of people that are actually hurt in the community. Don't have access to healthy food. Family members have been killed, need justice. Mm. Children need more opportunity. There's so many people that are actually hurting. Let me take my energy and focus on them and not focus on myself. You sign up for the position. One of the rules as a leader is don't make it about you and don't focus on yourself.
Man.
So then it got so easy for me to ignore the noise, bro. It got extremely easy. Now I'm 7 years in. I don't care how loud it is.
So be it that came from the church. A lot of times in church, you hear people talk about church hurt. No hurt like a church hurt. We're in a church recording this. Since then, I've seen you in various churches. What makes you want to set foot even back in the church? What makes you not be the person to say, all church people the same, I ain't going back?
Like, that's easy, man.
How did you not confuse church with God?
That's so fair, man.
A lot of people don't have a problem with God. They got a problem with his representatives.
Yeah. God got some punk representatives. Let me just say that out here in the church. Pastor Beavis, I'm so glad you're not one of them. But there are a lot of people, man, that they tempt the cloth. They're charlatans.
Yeah.
And this is not directly towards one person. So again, don't be out getting offended and being all sensitive, because All he did was ask the question, so don't direct anything towards
This is an unconventional conversation. I'm responsible for asking these unconventional questions.
Directed towards me. When anybody got a problem with my response, I'll say, how did I separate the two? That's easy. I'm a kid who grew up in the church. I understood the difference early. I understood that beyond what a pastor preaches in his or her sermon on a Sunday, that separate and apart from that, and separate and apart from the spiritual leader, I am also responsible for my own spiritual growth, my own spiritual walk, my own spiritual journey, my own relationship with God.
Yeah.
And my lack thereof is because of my decisions.
Yeah.
And I have not been the best Christian. I haven't been a perfect Christian. I haven't been the best saint or a perfect saint. I also know and see all faith leaders aren't created equally. And that you have some faith leaders that are consistent who they are in the pulpit. They are that way out there in the community. And you have some, quote, faith leaders who are one way in the pulpit and use the word NIGGA and disrespectful to women and trick off money worse than your average pimp. Mm. And that is a fact.
Yeah.
And those people are easily to distinguish between. And in a city like Birmingham, where so much of community is in church, and church is so part of community, I never give up on the church.
Yeah.
I just engage those faith leaders in churches who are consistent.
I got it. So let's rewind 8 to 10 years before you run for mayor. You're on the school board.
Yeah.
You and I think we had always known of each other.
Yeah.
But maybe that may have been our first real interaction.
Yeah. It wasn't so smooth.
It wasn't so smooth.
But I had much appreciation for you.
Here's what's so crazy, man.
People don't know that.
People don't know that. They like, man, you the mayor's boy. You and the mayor, so y'all so close. I need you to get a message to the mayor for me because he runs everything by you, and I know you know everything. They tell me stuff I don't even know. I'm like, really? I know that? And then they look at me crazy when I say, I don't know what you're talking about because I don't know what you're like. He ain't told me. He ain't responsible for telling me that. I find out what everybody else find out. But the perception is that we're so close. Now, I think we have grown to be friends and brothers.
We have.
But
that's the word, growth. It's been growth.
Growth.
Genuine growth.
It didn't start out that way.
No.
It didn't start out that way at all.
I remember our conversation from the coffee shop. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
Because I left that conversation. I told 2 people. Pastor Beaver is one of the few human beings in the entire city, y'all. I'm looking y'all. I'm gonna look at him, but I'm looking at y'all now. Even if we had a rocky start based on philosophical differences only, when we left that coffee shop,
we had a mutual respect.
I was deeper than that, bro.
Yeah.
Pastor Beavers, man, and I'm talking to your congregants now who are listening to this. Your pastor has more of a compelling vision than the average human being in the entire earth. In the city limits of Birmingham, I was putting you in the category of less than 5 people whose vision is so clear.
Wow.
Vision, man.
Wow.
You had my respect from a distance, even before the interaction at the school board.
Same here.
It was just philosophical differences on, movement on what you wanted versus what the system, the board wanted. But when we had that thing in the coffee shop, bro, from then on, I was like, I'm following this, brother. I became one of your foot soldiers from that moment.
So, man, here's what's
like
crazy.
Me personally.
Wow.
Even if I didn't become a member of the church, believing in the direction you wanted to take the church, the direction you wanted to take community, I became a foot soldier.
Wow. So what's crazy about that is that we had a difference in how we saw things. And since then, my mind has changed. I don't even see it the way that I saw it before. It was a sharp difference, but we left room for the relationship to be able to grow. Why do you think that confrontation I wouldn't just say in Birmingham, but just all over the world. It's like, if we disagree, we can't be friends.
Oh, man. So, again, I am so fortunate to start with how I grew up. I grew up in a household that was never less than 8 people.
Yeah.
Minimum of 4 generations. But you got to catch what I said.
Yeah.
Less than. That means sometimes it was more than 8. Man, when you got that many people in your house, bro, this is what you got to do. You got to use the C word. You got to compromise.
Yeah, you got to.
You got to use the other C word, stability.
Yeah.
You got to you got to use the A word, acceptance.
Right.
You got to accept that all people don't see it the same way you do. That they're different temperaments and styles and personalities and ways of communicating. So you get to a point of, what's the goal? The goal is understanding.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to convince you to see it my way. I'm not trying to get you.
I'm trying to understand how you see it and why you see it the way you see it. And
we may not ever see it the same, but I'm going to respect you enough to accept that. I'm going to accept the way you see it.
Right. And I don't have to down you because you see it different.
No, man, that's disrespectful, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, and what's happening? What's happening?
Yeah.
Over 50% of the gun violence is over some stupid stuff, bro.
Yeah.
Because of breakdown of just pure civility.
Mm.
We disagree on social media. So all of a sudden, when I see you, it's on site, I got to shoot you.
On site.
It's just a disagreement.
Yeah.
It's nothing like, it shouldn't be life-altering, changing that you end up taking someone's life, or you end up dying yourself, or you end up in prison. It's a difference.
Yeah.
We don't see it the same.
Yeah.
You didn't step on my shoe.
Yeah.
We just don't see it the same.
Yeah.
You didn't disrespect my girl. We just don't see it the same.
I get it.
It's silly.
Yeah.
It's a dice game.
Yeah.
I think you cheated me. You didn't cheat me. We get to fighting. We've had 2 homicides this year over a dice game. Now think about that. One of them was inside a house. Wow. That means you knew the person. You're not letting a stranger in your house come play dice.
You're letting somebody you know.
How somebody end up dying over a dice game in your house? Y'all saw it that differently. You decided to pull out sticks and guns. There's a bigger point. There was a breakdown in 2024, 2025 and beyond of civility at all levels. It's not just political. It's not just in schools. It's in everyday relationships.
Yeah.
Majority of our homicides in Birmingham between people who know each other. It's not strangers. It's not contract killing. Those things exist. But the majority of our breakdowns between people who know each other. So how do you get beyond your disagreement? First of all, I got to look at you as another human being. You have a family. You have a life. You're a person. But I'm not trying to hurt you.
Yeah.
I want us both to win. And if we can just get out of our selfishness in Birmingham, bro, it's okay for you to root for the next man.
Yeah.
You got your own lane.
I believe that, bro.
You got your own lane.
I believe that.
I don't have to hate on you.
Yeah.
I don't have to down you. I can be a pastor. You can be a pastor. And I need to root for you because we are both trying to shepherd human beings.
Man, that's real, man. Like the spirit of jealousy. I'm gonna say this, and then I definitely want to get to your book.
Yes, sir.
But as you're talking, it reminds me of David and Saul. And Saul was the first king of Israel. David was his successor. Because David was the next to come, Saul should have been mentoring David, but he became jealous of David and tried to murder the one that he was supposed to be mentoring. And the jealousy started over something that the praise team of Israel pointed out. They came back from battle. They said, Saul has slain his thousands, David his tens of thousands. And from that moment forward, Saul eyed David with a wayward and a jealous eye because the comparison, oh, you did 1,000, but he did 10,000. Instead of looking at it, we both slain 11,000 together. And so what I hear you saying when you say that, like, we can root for each other, like we're on the same team.
Right.
We all trying to make a difference.
For the life of me, I don't understand the hate in our community. Everybody got to win, bro.
Everybody.
Like,
it's
everybody
better for everybody win. Everybody wins.
I got on social media when you had to have an EDU email address. People forget that.
Wow.
It wasn't always open for everybody.
Mm.
And sometimes I'd be thinking, maybe this shouldn't be open for everybody because people don't know how to use the platform. The platform is not for you to air every grievance.
He said that. I ain't say that.
I said it. And I'm not afraid to say it.
Yeah.
We turn the platform into so much negativity, man. It's no different than L.com news or Alabama Media Group news or 1819 news or any of these platforms or 24-hour TV news. Bro, who wants that much negativity all day, bro? Yeah. It's, again, input. It's not meant to beat people over the head with negativity all day, bro. Every day. Who can survive that? Yeah. You feel you're in competition with everybody. Yeah. However somebody else is living their life on social media, that's not for you. Yeah. If you want to be entertained by it, cool. I haven't seen where the judging people works. I hadn't seen where the hating on people works. I hadn't seen where you got to question everybody else's lifestyle works. Like, let people live. If it ain't your flavor, cool. You ain't got to hate. But at the same time, support people that's doing the work, bro. Yeah. Every pastor should be celebrating you. You should be celebrating every pastor because y'all all shepherding people. Yeah, man. And I don't have time to hate on any other elected official. But I don't want to fight the state. The state got the power. I don't have any local control. But they got the power to change that law. They put it in place. They got superpower. And the point I'm making is, I got to work with them. Yeah. My position is nonpartisan, so I don't care about Republican, Democratic politics. The pothole's not a Democrat or Republican. The victim of gun violence is not a Democrat or Republican. They just a person, bro. Yeah. We trying to solve it or not. So that's where I am. Man, so speaking of that, you got this memoir. Yeah, man. Let's talk about it. What made you write it? Why should people read it? Son of Birmingham. Yeah, what was the idea behind it? Yes. So talk about it. By the way, everybody, go pre-order it. Please pre-order it. Yeah, if you're watching this and it's already out, order it. Yes, you can pre-order now at sonofbirmingham.com. Again, that's sonofbirmingham.com. The book officially comes out January 21st. So again, if you catch this after January 21st, it's not too late to pick up in stores and online. With that said, brother, there are a lot of things I've envisioned in my life. Being an author was never one. So let me just say to you and your audience, this has been extremely humbling. But it's also been super excitement to share a combination of stories, not just my personal journey or who I am as a son of the city and son of Birmingham. But this story is also part Birmingham's story. It's also part, what does leadership look like for our generation? Yeah. And it's also part of literally bringing civility and civics back so people can understand how their government works, their role in community. This book is ultimately a memoir and a personal journey. It is not a political book. It is part funny. It is part thought-provoking. It's part heartwarming as it relates to my love life and the birth of my daughter and Mary and Kendra. I talk about my spiritual journey, the ups and downs of it. I talk about all the leadership opportunities I've ever had, including bagging groceries at age 15. Wow. Every chapter is actually named after a song of my favorite artist, rap artist. Really? Yeah. So it's a lot of hip hop in this book, y'all. So I assume you got some Outkast. Oh, super Outkast. Look, on the back, turn over right now. The first blurb is from Big Boy. Supporting the book. So it's much love in this book to our culture and hip hop, pop culture references, man. It's a fun book. It's a fun journey. You all will enjoy it. If you love Birmingham, get this book. If you have interest and excitement about what you want from the next generation of leaders, get this book. If you love hip hop, get this book. Man, that's great. I'm glad I got the book. Thank you, bro. I'm glad I got the book, and I think you should get the book as well. If you want to be blessed, inspired, fueled, and re-energized. We talked about the imbalance of negative media and information
that is going inside of the ear gates and the eye gates of people. And whenever you don't have anything to offset that, it creates an imbalanced community. And from there, you see all of the negatives that we see, not just in our city, but in our world. But if you want something to offset it, other than the word of God, this got some word in it. Get this book.
I got some word in the book, for real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't wait for you to read it, my brother.
Man, I can't wait to read it, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm glad you came, bro.
Hey, man. Happy to be here. Shout out to your audience. Shout out to you, brother. I love you, man.
I love you.
I'm not
too,
afraid
bro.
to tell people that. You've given me ample spiritual guidance that I didn't even know I needed.
Wow.
As a man, as a husband, as a bonus dad, and as a father, as a leader in the community. Yeah. I'm extremely grateful to you and for you.
Yeah. I appreciate
I'm riding
it,
with
man.
you, bro. I'm riding with you. The vision is clear. I'm riding with you, man.
I love you, man. Yeah. And hey, if you have any questions for the mayor and you want his cell phone number, it's 555-555-5555. Again, you can call that number again. It's 555-555-5555. Thank you so much. Hey, I want to thank you for tuning in to another edition of Unconventional Conversations. We'll be back next time, same station. Peace.